Hi all, today we're going to be ranking the Battlefield 5 maps, because I don't actually see a lot of these, and I wanted to do one. So, this is all from the perspective of someone who mostly plays Conquest with a bit of Breakthrough, and I have nothing else to say. So, first up, Aerodrome. I'm going to be real here, I actually really like Aerodrome. I think it's a B tier map. Fighting over C Point is fun. It's definitely a shit show. There's definitely issues with the map, and that's why I'm not putting it any higher. But it's fairly fun. Breakthrough attacking is fun if you can manage to keep a tank all the way through the game. Other than that, yeah, it suffers just because of a lack of cover, and it's really easy to get permanently trapped in the C Point, even though I do believe it is the most fun part of the map. Arras is... probably C tier. The middle section of the map, like the Church Tower and Echo and down to Bravo, is fun. The rest of the map is just kind of too big. The fields, honestly, could just be completely cut out of the map because it doesn't really feel like anything ever goes on there, and it's just kind of a shit show. And the other side of the map, the far side with the, I don't know the names of the objectives because I never fight over there. Basically, anything that's not the middle on a Ross kind of sucks, but the middle area is fun enough to fight in that I'm going to put it in C. I've not gotten to play a lot of Breakthrough on a Ross, but it seemed okay. Devastation is... I think Devastation's probably D tier. I just don't enjoy the map that much. It doesn't really feel good to play. I don't like... It feels very small, but not in a fun way. It's just, it doesn't feel like it flows all that well. It feels like once a team gets Cathedral or has at least a half-decent tank player, you're just kind of fucked. And it's just okay. I think the visuals of it are pretty boring, and I think the layout's kind of uninteresting. But it's safe for being terrible just because the C point is fun to fight over. Like, the Cathedral is interesting enough, and if you can play a tank well, it is reasonably enjoyable to play, but it's definitely one of the weaker maps. Fiel is probably C tier. It's really dependent on the pilots. I mean, if you're trying to level a plane, it's great. If the enemy team has good pilots, you're fucked. The infantry sides of the map aren't too bad. It sucks dick in Breakthrough just because it's so hard to actually push if you're attacking in Breakthrough because nobody has the brain to actually flank. So I think it's okay enough to be C tier. It just really suffers from pilots. If you get really oppressive pilots, you're kind of just screwed. Hamada is D tier. It's just too big, once again. Much like Arras, it really feels like everything is condensed into the middle of the map, which is D point in the case of Hamada. And I cannot remember the last time I've actually played in the fortress area in a Conquest game. I never ever see fights develop over there, and it just feels entirely like dead map. Breakthrough Hamada gets a pass for being fairly okay, but it's still Hamada. There's still not a lot of cover. You still kind of get rinsed by airplanes. Tanking feels shitty because people tend to just camp on ridges. It's just not a very fun map. The only thing saving it from the bottom tier is that C point and D point occasionally get reasonably fun brawls, and I don't hate it as much as a couple of the other maps in this list. This is Almarge. Almarge is probably like a B tier map. It's okay. I really think you should be able to pull the squad reinforcement half track on it. I think that would make it a little bit more fun, because the Pack Wagon and the T-48 are actually quite a lot of fun to use, and I don't think they're strong enough that it would completely break the map, considering you can't pull tanks on it anyway, but it would give you, like, a more of a way to play it as a vehicle. I think that would make Almarge a bit better. Other than that, it's okay. It having two variants is weird. It threw me off the first time I got the 4-point Conquest instead of the 5. I think 5-point Conquest plays better on Almarge, but other than that, it's a pretty alright map. Breakthrough is a bit of a hellhole, but that's to be expected with Breakthrough on such a small map. This is Narvik, and I think Narvik is the first bottom tier map. It's too bright, it hurts my eyes. There's just a lot of gooners on it who just snipe from like the top of the buildings to the very top of the map, or in bushes, or prone, or... It's just not fun to play. It doesn't flow, it has no cover. If you get good airplanes, you're just screwed because they'll just delete you and there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. It's just not fun to play. Definitely the brightness is probably my biggest issue with it, and just people play like goons. It's just not fun at all. Panzer Storm is weird because Panzer Storm is like a B tier tanking map and a D tier infantry map, so I'm gonna put it in C. I think playing tank aggressively on Panzer Storm is fun. Like if you're rolling around with like a Puma or a Greyhound and just kind of rolling around causing havoc, I think it's a lot of fun. If you're playing infantry, it's just kind of hell because you just kind of get farmed by tanks. And airplanes, I mean, they're easy to shoot down because there's not really a whole lot going on for them to use cover, but it's just not that engaging. As a whole, I'd say it's probably just C tier. I've not gotten to play Breakthrough Panzer Storm yet, but I don't imagine it's much better. This is Rotterdam, and I think Rotterdam probably goes into C tier as well. Main problem with Rotterdam is that the entire skybridge on the map is just really shitty. People just kind of hang up in the skybridge, and there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. Other than that, it's okay. I think it's a little on the large side. I would like to see maybe the Echo Point just go altogether by the German team spawn, because it's just not that fun or well designed in my opinion. That Rotterdam is just okay. It's not a whole lot to it, I would say. I wish there was a bit more cover, especially along the road going all the way along the outside of the map between the hotel and the White House points. I think if there was more cover along that road, or at least buildable cover, I think it'd be more fun. But, you know, that's all you can do. This is... Is this Wake Island? I think this is Wake Island. I think Wake might be in fuck you tier. Wake is just not fun, like, at all. The main problem with Wake Island is that it's really annoying to play vehicles on because there's just not a lot of places to spawn vehicles. It's too big. It takes way too long to get around in general. I feel like the map should be sized down to maybe 3/4 of what it currently is. It just feels too big. Good pilots ruin your day. Breakthrough is just agony. If it feels a lot like a match is decided by if the Americans can get a point early, or if they don't, because if they don't get a point, you can just lose because you don't have enough spawns. If you do get a point early, then the Japanese just lose because they don't have enough spawns. It just doesn't feel particularly well designed or engaging to play on. And like I said, it's too big. It takes way too long to run around anywhere on it. It just kind of sucks. Alcindon also goes all the way down to bottom tier. Same problem. It's way too big. It doesn't flow. Breakthrough doesn't play particularly well because you usually just kind of tend to get hellholed at the first objective, or you just get pushed all the way and destroyed if you're defending. It's just not fun. It's way too big. It took way too long to come out for those people that were playing when it was originally in development, because it's Alcindon for a reason. It's just not fun. You could cut the entire airfield area out of the map, and the northern point that's next to the American spawn, I don't remember what point it is. It's the one that nobody ever fights at, that's kind of near the airstrip. You could cut that all entirely out of the map, and nothing would change. People really only play Delta Charlie, and if they made it smaller and maybe got rid of air spawns on it, and made it maybe just like 1 or 2 tanks per side, it might be better, but it's just too big as it is. Iwo Jima is probably A tier. I'm not going to put an S tier because I think it's too big for Conquest. I think the entire mountain region in Conquest could be cut off the map entirely, but I firmly believe it's the best breakthrough map in the game because it's incredibly fun to push on. It's fun to defend. It's designed really well in breakthrough, in my opinion. Conquest, as long as you don't go into the mountain area, it's fine. If you aren't in the mountain area, though, there's really no cover to work with, so it's getting pushed up a lot because of how good it is in Breakthrough, but even just considering Conquest, I'd say it's probably like a C tier map, upper C tier, which is why it goes up to A thanks to its Breakthrough variant being so good. The Foden Islands, I only play Conquest or Breakthrough, and I've never gotten to play that map. Merida is probably D tier. D tier, but ahead of these other two. It's infantry only, which is not very fun in my opinion. I like maps that are actually combined arms. It also just feels too small and too claustrophobic. I'd say the Charlie Bridge is just hell. Everything around that section of the map is just hell. And on the whole, it just feels kind of lame. It's not that fun to see on. The visuals on it are kind of weird. There's way too many foliage, like just way too many bushes. But other than that, it's okay. It's not like I hate playing them. Like, here's something to consider. D tier, I don't explicitly hate any of the maps in this game, except for maybe the fuck you tier, to be honest. But, like, these maps are all just, like, my least favorite. These are ones I'll begrudgingly play a match through. And Marita's one of those maps. It's just not that fun. Op Underground gets to sit in bottom tier because I don't like it. It's not fun. It's just a choke fest. It's not fun at all. Breakthrough on it sucks. Conquest on it sucks because you just usually just get pushed into either the A point entryway or the C point entryway. Basically, you get stuck at either ends of the metro. It's just not fun. It just turns into a shithole. And I know that's the whole point of Underground, Metro, whatever you want to call it, but it's not a fun or engaging shithole in the slightest. Pacific Storm is S tier. I don't know how controversial this opinion is, but I think Pacific Storm is really, really fun to play. I think the vehicle balance on it is actually surprisingly okay. Airplanes are a little strong, but they're strong in every map, so it's not that big of a dock against it. The vehicle play on it is fun because of all the flanks you can do. Everything around the Delta Point is just a lot of fun to play in general. Breakthrough on it feels really good. It's a good map. I really like Pacific Storm, and it's probably my favorite map in the game overall. At least I can't think of anything else that would come close. Maybe Iwo Jima Breakthrough could share this S tier, but if we're considering Conquest as well, I think Iwo Jima has to stay A tier. Whereas I love playing Pacific Storm regardless of if it's S or A, and the Storm of Pacific Storm is a lot of fun. Even if it's mostly just a visual thing, I really like Pacific Storm. I think it feels really good to play. Solomon is probably B tier. The C point and everything around the C point, the shithole that develops its C point, is a lot of fun. Everything else about Solomon kind of sucks, but I enjoy fighting in the C point like hellhole enough that it's fun enough to play. It gets B tier because it's fun. I like the Pacific maps as a whole, apart from Wake Island, so they're getting inflated because I think they're probably the best maps in the game, but Solomon mostly shines through because of C Point. The rest of it is just kind of ass, and I think the map could benefit a lot from losing the LVT spawn or the Kami spawn on Japan's side, and actually just giving both nations another hard tank spawn. I think would be a better way to make Solomon more fun. This is Twisted Seal, that's what it is. Twisted Seal is probably D tier. Same problems as Hamada, really, where you really only fight over Echo and Bravo at all. It's too big, honestly. Everything apart from the bridge is just not fun to play, in my opinion. Armor doesn't feel that good because there's a massive water in the middle of the map, and if you're not paying attention, you just kind of crash into it. Planes are really, really strong. It is fun to dogfight on because you can make use of the bridge in a lot of creative ways, but apart from that, it's just not that fun. Fighting over the bridge is fine, but you get competent vehicle players and you're screwed. Like, it's... And the outer skirts of the maps, like I said, are just not fun to play. They take too long to run around. It's just not fun. There's not enough cover. I wish there was more cover on the bridge as well, but the bridge is fun enough to save it from the bottom tier. Mercury is probably B tier. Maybe C tier. Mercury is fun in like the middle, but it's one of those maps again where really all the fighting is taking place around C and B, and you rarely ever get to push anywhere else, which isn't a bad thing. I like both C and B on Mercury, but you don't ever get to experience like the entirety of the map at all. And if you're tanking, there's just not really enough lanes to work with. That doesn't just evolve into ridgeline bullshittery. And planes can just kind of fuck everything up like usual. It's a decent map, though, which is why it goes in C tier. I'd say on a good day it could go up to B tier, but I'm feeling like it's a C tier day today. Province, Breakthrough Province is like some of the worst shit I've ever played. Conquest Province, as long as you stay in the city, is pretty fun. So it's going to go in C tier. The entire out-of-field area of Province just sucks. But as long as you stay in city, City Province is fun. Especially to play armor in. Running like an AA spec Greyhound and just shredding infantry in the city area is a lot of fun. Or if you run like a Stug and you just kind of hold a lane and you have a gunner in your 360, it's pretty fun. Other than that, Province just really suffers from being too big, I think, much like some of the other maps. Basically, the main problem with all my C and B tier or C and D tier maps is that they're too big, and all the battles really only take place at one point, like Fiel, Devastation, Arras, Hamada, Twisted Steel, Province, and Mercury. Those are my problems with all those maps, whereas Panzer Storm is not fun unless you're in a tank. Fiel just kind of sucks, but at least the piloting is kind of fun, and it can have some good infantry moments. Merida is just okay, it's just kind of boring. And Rotterdam is just plagued by the Skybridge issue. I think on a good day, realistically, I could probably move Aerodrome up to A tier. I am one of those weird people that like the shithole that develops at Aerodrome, but Aerodrome is also ruined hard by people who play vehicles and just sit on the ridges on the outside of the map. If you play aggressive tank on Aerodrome, it's a lot of fun, but that's also reliant on your own team not just driving directly into you and blowing you up. So I think that's my list overall. Of course, Lofoten doesn't get a rank. because I don't play it. I don't think the Firestorm map is in here. I don't know if Halvoy is in here. I don't recognize it in here, but if I put it in here and I mistakenly... I've never played or I think I played Firestorm once when the mode came out. I've never played Firestorm otherwise, so... I don't have an opinion on Halvoy, I don't have an opinion on Leftfoot Islands, and I have opinions on all these other maps. I'm sure I'll get shit because, wow, Pacific Storm and S-Tier, holy shit. But that's just my opinion. So, if you listened all the way through, thank you. I'll try and make more content, but I have a job again now, so, you know, I'll try and get stuff out when I can. See ya.